Hello my friends, welcome back. I'm JC and this is Grace Overflowing. In today's video, I have some incredible confirmations to share with you guys. I have to admit, I did not expect to be back here so soon after I had uploaded my video yesterday, but to be frank, these confirmations were so amazing that I could not imagine not sharing them. I strongly felt that the Lord was leading me back here to encourage you today, especially after my message yesterday was a little bit tough. You know, it had to do with judgment coming on America. And with that, I need to share a little bit about the details of that dream message so that I can tell you how the Lord has spoken it and given me additional insights and how I believe He is saying that even with that, there is a strong connection to rapture. That the rapture of the church is coming soon. Jesus is coming soon, my friends. And so with that, I had shared about a vision I had of the United States. Suddenly, someone throws a shoe and strikes the map in the exact center. When that happened, it knocked a hole in the center of the map in the shape of a triangle. And I didn't mention this in my video yesterday, but it is pertinent and relevant that the hole was actually white. So suddenly there was a white triangle in the center of the United States. And I had shared where the Lord had led me to scriptures where there is actual words that's connected to this exact concept of a shoe being thrown upon a piece of land or a people group, if you will. And these scriptures can be found, it's Psalm 60 as well as Psalm 108. And the actual verse says, "Upon Edom I will toss my shoe." And I had spoken into how the Lord had really shown me that as it connected to Edom and their idolatry and the false beliefs that they had, that the Lord was making a comparison to the United States, that judgment is coming for the United States. And so after I had uploaded that video, moments after it had kind of gotten in that window where people could have actually watched the video, it was about 30 minutes, I had quickly gotten a comment on the video saying that there was no sound. And so I had written this sister back and said, you know, I have sound on my end, but I was waiting for her to respond to me. And I kept kind of refreshing, waiting for that response to come back just to find out if I needed to take the video down and re-upload it. In the midst of this, my friends, I ultimately ended up getting another comment that came through from another brother or sister that was astonishing. Now, the most astonishing part of it was that I even saw it, because after I had opened it and taken a screenshot of it, it has since disappeared completely. You know, I don't know if this brother or sister took it down. I don't believe so. I believe that, you know, perhaps YouTube, you know, has been really bad, but this comment didn't have any of the bad words, if you will. So I don't know why it was deleted. But not only could it not be found in my studio, but even in the drop-down menu where you can kind of see these breadcrumbs of comments that come through that usually show a history of everything that comes through, it was not found there either. So it was just incredible and a miracle in and of itself that I happened to see this comment. Now I'd like to share this comment with you guys and what this friend shared. They shared that the geographic center of America is Lebanon, Kansas, and went on to say, and wouldn't you know it, there is a chapel at the center surrounded by a triangle road, Road 130. And then in parentheses says the chapel is in the center of the triangle. And then they went on to say that 130, as it connects to the number associated in the Strong's for the Greek word, means the shedding of blood. And 130 in the Strong's for the Hebrew word means Edom. And they had concluded this comment by saying, therefore, it means the shedding of Edom's blood at the geographic center of America. And so I was super astonished. I could not believe that here I'd had this dream, and obviously this significant aspect of the dream being a triangle. And so they're telling me that there's a literal triangle at the center of the US and a chapel inside of it. I went about trying to look some of this up, and everything has checked out. And I want to show you a little bit of what I found. You'll have to forgive me because this print off is not ideal, but I will put the link in the description box if you're interested in pulling it up and seeing. But this should be enough to give you an idea of what I found. So you can see this tiny little chapel, as well as hopefully the address. And then I was able to pull it up so you could see a sky view of what the land area looks like. And sure enough, there's a triangle there. And so with that, I was just really floored. And I felt that the Lord was definitely giving me a confirmation of a job well done, that I had spoken this message about America, even though it was hard, and confirming that, in fact, I had done as He had sent me to do. And so I just felt that that was just a personal confirmation for me, until I was awakened in the middle of the night by the Lord at 2 a.m. exactly. And I had gone down into the kitchen and getting the tea kettle on, I pulled up YouTube and a video caught my eye. Now, here's the interesting thing about this video is that I have been seeing it for the last week. It's not a channel that I follow. It's not a channel that I've ever watched before. I didn't recognize the gal at all, but I kept seeing it. But up until that point, there was really no leading by the Spirit to click in and watch. However, this morning, I felt strongly that it was the day, and I just clicked in there and I started listening as I was getting my morning stuff together in the kitchen. And she was speaking about a confirmation to a dream that she had had that was connected to rapture. And it had to do with some blood moons. And so all of this, I'm just kind of taking it in. And nothing was too off the charts until all of a sudden there is a clip where she plays from another video where a man is speaking into the geographic center of the United States. He says it's Lebanon, Kansas. He proceeds to talk about the chapel, etc. And so when I heard this, my friends, I was just astonished. I'm going to tell you, I got chill bumps on my arms. I mean, my eyes filled up with tears. I mean, I'm literally saying out loud, Lord, what are you telling me right here? Because this message and how it connected to judgment coming on America, and now this message as it relates to rapture. And I was really, really encouraged by it, just really wowed by the odds of it. I didn't feel at all like you could look at this situation and say it was a coincidence. We know that the Lord goes before us, and He had gone before us, bringing that video into my feed, but held back my hand and didn't lead me to actually listen until after I had posted my video. So when my husband had gotten up, I showed him the thumbnail just because I'm trying to set the scene. And he's like, yes, I had actually pulled up YouTube because my YouTube is connected to our television. So he happened to pull it up for a second last night on the TV. The same video had caught his eye. And he said he literally considered clicking into it because there was some mind blow language and it was related to rapture. And so there was something that was pulling him into it as well. But as the Lord would have it, he didn't watch it last night. And so I had shared it with him. The guy in the video is speaking into how people get married in this chapel and how this chapel had actually been destroyed. A car had driven right through the intersection and literally demolished it back in 2008. And so my husband felt led to look into that this morning and found that it was June the 1st, 2008. And we both look at each other because of the fact that, we're about to come upon this anniversary, if you will. Quickly doing the math, found it was 14 years. And this is where I start to believe that the Lord is really speaking, and how this really seems to point, my friends, to rapture being soon, because the number 14 is very significant in scriptures. Because of time, and I'm wanting to keep this video short, I'm not going to go into the details, but if you're interested, check it out. out, Bible meaning number 14, and you can find a lot on this number. But in a nutshell, it means deliverance and salvation. And so on one side of this coin, of this dream that I'd had, there's this judgment coming on America. There's the striking of Edom and all that God opposes right now that's happening in our country. But on the other side of that coin, my friends, just as I had spoken in my video yesterday, I believe everything that's coming is leading up to the rapture of the church. And I believe that that is that symbol of potentially 14 years since that chapel was destroyed, and it has since been rebuilt. Not to mention the double sevens aspect of it. And it just seems like God for that to have significant meaning as well. Now, the last thing I want to speak to is this notion of the 153 fish as the scriptures are written in the book of John. I had spoken in a previous video about this number and how there seems to be a strong indication that this number is connected to rapture. Now, as it relates to the Jewish calendar, the 15th day of the third month is actually our mid-June. And I had spoken in a video about how there is a full moon and how this time is a high watch time. I had spoken of all this in a previous video. I will link that video in the description box as well. But what's really interesting is that June the 2nd is the 153rd day in our calendar. And so here we have this chapel in the center of the United States that the Lord had kind of led me to, the implications as it relates to both judgment and deliverance, and that there was a date, June 1st, where this thing was destroyed, and that's been 14 years ago. And June the 2nd is the 153rd day of our calendar. My friends, in his letter to the Thessalonians, Paul encouraged those people that he loved to hold on to and encourage each other with the blessed hope of the Lord coming in the clouds and rescuing us all in this great catching away that we refer to as the rapture. And so it is with that in my heart that I come to you to share all of this today. I hope that this message was an encouragement to you. And in closing, I want to end with those words that he had written, where he says, "For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the archangel's voice and the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are still alive will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so will always be with the Lord. Therefore, encourage one another with these words." My friends, until next time, may the Lord bless you and guide you and fill you with his perfect grace overflowing.